I'm John Kovach. I've been a newsman, a sports announcer, and a football coach, but the one constant, since I was old enough to stand next to a stream with my dad, has been fishing. I've waded rapids, stood on slick rocks, hacked through ice, and been tossed about the deck of a boat. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do, and join me on this journey. Welcome to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. Good afternoon, everybody. Thursday, August 10th. Welcome to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. Very busy show. We're going to get right to it. We've got a new author who's going to be at a festival this weekend. We've got a new Soundkeeper. And we've got an update on new regulations that have been proposed here in Connecticut. But first, we've got him on the phone, Mark Usick. Mark has written his first book. It's Reflections on a Fly Rod. Mark will be at the American Museum of Fly Fishing in Manchester, Vermont. It's right next to the Orvis flagship store. They've been great friends of the show. Mark, you're going to love it up there. And Mark, thanks for joining us on Yankee Fisherman.
Thank you, John.
So, how did the book come about?
I've been trying to figure that out on my own, actually. It kind of just happened. I write a blog on jprossflyrods.com, and it started, I don't know, I maybe wanted to get into writing, but I wasn't sure. And eventually the blog took on a life of its own and built my confidence up enough to, I said, this stuff should be on paper and I ought to try it. And it just kind of rolled on from there, really. That's what happened.
How is the transition from blogger to seeing your work in paper? Because there's the constant debate in my industry, which is the media industry, in writing of books and literature, the difference between the tangible print product and the electronic product. Do you find a difference in the two?
Personally, I do. I would rather hold something in my hands. I don't know, you want to call me old school, romantic, whatever it is. There's a lot of online, fishing magazines and other blogs and stuff like that. I would rather flip pages.
And there's such a market also for the tangible paper fly fishing books. Just there's something that people want, printed books on fly fishing. They want shelves and shelves of them.
That is exactly it. I can have all that, on my computer, online, whatever, but I want to see my bookshelf full of those books so that I can just pick one at a whim and physically touch it and flip through it and read it. And it's kind of funny that I guess where this is going is I've got 61 stories in my book. The majority of them came off of my blog, whether I edited them for content or length, changed them around a little bit, whatever. So a lot of people that bought my book had already had already read a lot of the stories. They wanted them on paper anyways. It didn't matter to them.
I think there's something to be said for that, and I think that's fairly common. Any favorite stories?
I got a couple of favorite stories. There's one in there. The book goes through a short time in life, It starts out with one job, kind of drifts through to another job. I think the first job in the book, I was climbing cell phone towers, which is really how I got into fly fishing too. Being on the road, different waters all the time.
Which amazes me and hits home for me.
Yeah.
Well, my father was a lineman, and I remember him doing some tower work on radio towers, etc.
Oh, it was great, and you're always on the road. And I think the first story that really in the book that really did it for me, close to me, even though I read them all, was probably the last day on that job, quitting that job. And then there's a couple of camping with the family that, if you've got a family, kids, if you have had them and they're all grown up, that as bad as you want everything to be a fishing trip, family camping trips are in no way, shape, or form a fishing trip.
Not having kids, but remembering being a kid, I'm just certain that's the case. So it was that travel that led you to take up fly fishing?
It was the job, being on the road. I fished with, I started carrying spinning rods and stuff with me. And I'll be honest with you, I hate to say that I was getting bored fishing, but I wanted something different. And for whatever reason, maybe it was an age thing. Maybe it was just how popular it was getting on the internet. We're talking about 8 years ago now, but still, I wanted to try something different. And I was in Auburn, New York. There was a Bass Pro Shop out there, 'cause there's really no fly shops around us unless you go up by Pulaski. And they had a really cheap fly rod. I bought that. My wife found me a cheap fly reel 2 months earlier at a garage sale, an old Medalist.
Great place to get him, a great one to start with.
And that was it. I struggled with it for I don't know, probably about a year. I'd take a fly rod out, and then I'd take the spinning rod too, and I'd get frustrated with the fly rod, go back to the spinning rod. But I have a hard time sticking with anything in my life. I've quit a lot of stuff, and for one reason or another, I kept my chin up and struggled through it until I'm not going to say I'm good at it, but I got good enough at it to quit taking the spinning rod out with me. That's all I do now, and it was because of that job, being on the road.
All that matters is that you're good enough to enjoy it, and I would have to say, and I'm curious as to whether you agree or not, I, a lot of times, will take both the fly rod and the spinning rod. I started with a spinning rod, which is why I'm a left-handed retrieve on all my fly rods. Would you recommend that to somebody starting out, so that if they do get frustrated, rather than walking away from the river, you just switch rods and stay with it and get yourself back in the moment?
Without a doubt. I did that for, like I said, almost a year. And I mean, otherwise you're going to find yourself walking away from the water mad. And you can't do that. That goes against the whole reason that you go out on the water. You can't get mad. So yeah, if it takes switching back and forth just so you can have some fun and catch some fish, not get frustrated, I think that's an excellent plan.
Primarily a trout fisherman?
No, actually, I really enjoy smallmouth bass. They're probably my favorite. But here in New York, the Adirondacks aren't very far away. I can be on brook trout streams they're not that far away, but they feel like they're 3 countries away in less than an hour. So I do chase a lot of trout, a lot of brook trout, but it's because of where they are. If those smallmouth were there, I'd be chasing smallmouth there. I chase a lot of trout just because of where they take me.
Now, you're going to be at the American Museum of Fly Fishing Saturday. You're going to be there with J.P. Ross rods?
Yes, I'm going to be there. I convinced Jordan to come along with me. He's going to have, I think, some fly boxes and stuff, and we're actually going to have, we're keeping the fly rods, but we're moving into the small, adventure camper market. We're going to have our new trail marker camper with us. I'm going to use it as my booth.
And that is just a smaller camper from what I've seen online?
Yes, it's meant to be in between your 20-foot tag trailers that are just, it's way more than what you need. But above, say, like the small little rooftop camper trailers that the people are towing behind their Jeeps and stuff, the overland stuff, those are great and all, but you're still sleeping in a tent at the end of the day. So this is in between. This isn't a teardrop. It's more square shaped, so you've got all your space. You don't lose much space, but it's really light, and it's meant to be like your base camp.
Sounds like I've got something else to talk to you and the guys from J.P. Ross in the near future. I'd love to have you back on and talk about those.
Definitely. I'd love to. That'd be great.
Mark Usick, you can talk to him about his reflections of a fly rod up at the American Museum of Fly Fishing in Manchester, Vermont. That is Saturday from 10 to 4. They'll have tying demonstrations, casting demonstrations, just a chance to hang out and talk fly fishing with people like Mark. Mark, thanks for joining us on Yankee Fisherman.
Thanks for having me, John. I look forward to doing it again.
Definitely. We'll be back with more Yankee Fisherman presented by the Dock Shop right after this. School's out, the weather is hot, and the fish are biting. Whether you're heading to the beach or out on a boat, stop in at the Dock Shop before you go to fill your beach bag or tackle box with everything you'll need for fun in the sun. A new beach cover-up, some sunscreen, or just some bait, the Dock Shop has you covered from either location. 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. And yes, you heard that right. Bait is now available in Darien and Westport. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. DockShop.com.
Celebrate summer with fresh, made-to-order picnic boxes from Walter Stewart's Market. We have delicious summery selections from buttermilk fried chicken to grilled lemon chicken kebab, grilled shrimp Caesar salad wraps, or lobster salad rolls. Our easy-to-carry picnic boxes come with your choice of a meal, as well as a dessert, beverage, and utensils. Order online for simple pickup options. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, and online at stewartsmarket.com.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The InSports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. SCAP Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now at the Summer Clearance Event. Now through August 31st.
Welcome back to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. Just a week ago today, we were down at Brewers Marina in Stratford. Very special day there for Save the Sound, the Connecticut Fund for the Environment, and for Soundkeeper. Those two organizations merged, and on what would have been Terry Backer's birthday, God bless him, CFE Save the Sound introduced the new Long Island Soundkeeper. Name is Bill Lucy. He is a native of Wilton, Connecticut. He has come home after trotting around the globe on fishing-related jobs, and he's here now to be the newest watchdog for the Long Island Sound. Let's meet Bill.
And I'll just talk a little bit about the boat for a minute. Now, this is not a brand new boat. This is like a 1985, 21-foot Mako, which I think speaks a little bit to the funk and grit of the Waterkeeper Alliance, right? And
I really couldn't begin to tell you how proud myself and my family are of Terry and all that he's accomplished. It's mind-blowing for all of us, really. I couldn't be happier to christen the boat for Terry, and I'm sure that Terry couldn't be happier to see his legacy being continued. And especially today on his birthday. Happy birthday. And I think he's up there saying, don't screw it up. Let's go.
This is a new beginning for me. It's been quite a journey. I grew up in Wilton, went to public school there, and played soccer with a lot of the towns driving through here, and fished all over the place. We fished this Housatonic River, Saugatuck, Norwalk. It has a lot of memories for me around this area. So I left Wilton in 1986, and this is the first time I'm moving back. So it's been about a 30-year, as the Australians say, walkabout. Went to Central America first, then up to Alaska, always to do with fish, and then over to Hawaii. So that gets us to Hawaii. So in April, March, we were scrambling, trying to get legislation passed. Everybody knows that that's quite an ordeal. You come up with a great idea, you start authoring this thing, you have a bunch of meetings, change your strategies, you start your lobbying, and then things get really fast during session. The farthest thing from my mind was being able to stand here today in this situation with all of these legislators behind me, over there, around. This is quite a powerful group of people for change. And in Hawaii, we worked really well with our legislatures. They were allies, and I have a very good sense it's going to be the same in Connecticut. We have a lot of challenges. Talking to Kurt, I haven't been out here yet, but parts of the marsh appear to be falling off. We all know that sea level is coming. All the real estate down low is going to be threatened. We really need to maintain the resiliency of this sound. Some people don't like to talk about it or what causes it, but the fishermen, as they noticed the pollution first, they're the first ones that noticed this. I talked to the Jimmy there, who was driving the travel lift today. He's been working on this yard since 1972. So he's seen the wildlife change. He's seen the ospreys increase. He's seen the stripers. They stuck around all winter, he told me, this year. That means the ospreys, the eagles have food to eat all winter. You're starting to see the ecosystem coming back. And that's what's been going on for 30, 40 years, what Terry started, what everyone who's been working on the sound. I guess Norm Bloom's been in this business for a long time too. And everybody wants the clean water. And that kind of gets to one thing I think we're starting to see, and Rosa mentioned it, the word bipartisanship. Regardless of all the current rhetoric, which I won't address here, the government's not our enemy. We are the government, whether you're a voter, taxpayer, a representative, just a citizen. We are the government, and these waters, this is our trust. We are the trustees. The government legally, of course, is the trustee. There's someone you can point to. That's DEEP. They're in charge of sport fishing regulations. But in reality, it's all of us. If you see a group of kids on a public beach playing, is that us and them? If you see a bunch of people lined up on the dock, say at Cap Pasture, casting line for bluefish, hanging out, relaxing, no one cares if they're Republican or Democrat. They're enjoying their fishing. And so we really needed to bring this country back to that middle ground, or the middle path, I guess, as they would say in Bhutan, right? So this kind of leads me to the question of budget. So how do we prioritize what we're going to spend our money on? Is it going to be, do we have to make choices between a sewer upgrade and an expansion at a school? I think the real question is, can we actually live in a polluted environment? Can we have a functioning society and economy in a polluted environment? And I don't think so, which leads me to the mission of the Soundkeeper. The main thing is going to be on getting out on the water like Terry. I mean, he already had it because he was a lobsterman. Everybody knew him. From my little bit of lobster fishing, it was all kind of broken up into territories unofficially anyway. Everybody knew everybody else out there, but when you're out there flying the flag of the Terry backer, then you're letting people know that we care about the pollution. We care about doing something about it. We care about standing our ground and taking the steps we need, drawing the line to make sure that clean water happens. The other thing that I feel being involved, if they can see what the problems are, they're going to come to our aid and help us. So I guess one thing is being a voice for the fish and the wildlife and the ospreys. That's something that's pretty difficult to do. I think the best quote I heard researching Terry Backer's background was when he said that you have contaminated fish out here, that is theft. That's true. If I have to worry about my kid eating a fish that he just caught off the dock here, that is theft of a public resource. One of the great all-time lines I've heard that Mr. Backer said. It really resonated with me. My dream is probably similar with Norman's and any other harvesters here. We should be able to catch fish and oysters anywhere in these harbors, anywhere on the Sound. There should be no consumption advisories. The industry should grow and be be a huge economic engine for the Sound. I guess what I'll say kind of in closing, back in the 90s, I did a few days, as I mentioned before, deckhanding, and I was out on a lobster boat off Port Jeff in the wintertime. And the deckhand, who was a colleague of mine from my Peace Corps days, we were just picking up odd jobs after Peace Corps. You're kind of in a daze when you get out of Peace Corps. You're not really sure what's going on. So we're doing pretty good, catch about 800 pounds a day. And he told me, my friend, that the Long Island Sound was considered in the past one of the most productive ecosystems on the planet, one of the most productive estuary ecosystems on the planet, and it's full health. I think we can get there again. I think we need to remember that although a lot of progress has been made, my life's a classicist. So the Greek goddess Nike, victory, that's her name. She stands on a ball. So we can always fall off that ball, but we're making forward progress. And I think there's a lot of people involved, a lot of groups working in the same direction. And if we work as friends and colleagues, I think we're going to have a good, strong future for the Sound. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Thank you, Bill Lucy, and everybody from Save the Sound, from the Connecticut Fund for the Environment, and Soundkeeper. Welcome, Bill. Really looking forward to doing a lot more with you. Want to get out on the Sound, and we'll be talking more with Bill as he takes over that role that Terry Backer nurtured and shaped and really helped save the Long Island Sound. When we get back, we'll have an update from last night's hearing on proposed new Connecticut fishing regulations on Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. School's out, the weather is hot, and the fish are biting. Whether you're heading to the beach or out on a boat, stop in at the Dock Shop before you go to fill your beach bag or tackle box with everything you'll need for fun in the sun. A new beach cover-up, some sunscreen, or just some bait, the Dock Shop has you covered from either location. 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. And yes, you heard that right. Bait is now available in Darien and Westport. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. DockShop.com.
Now teeing off, Paul Miller from Miller Nissan in Fairfield.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller. What about my new Sentra?
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
He is never going to retire.
At Pure Barre Ridgefield, our tried and true method can shape every body and fit any schedule. Pure Barre is a total body workout using the ballet bar to perform small isometric movements which burn fat, sculpt muscles, and create long, lean physiques. Sweat away the day and get lost in the music. Pure Barre Ridgefield, located at 86 Danbury Road. Like us on Facebook at Pure Barre Ridgefield.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now at the Summer Clearance event. Now through August 31st.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN network.
Things are heating up this summer. See some of the world's best tennis players at the Connecticut Open presented by United Technologies. Enjoy food trucks, entertainment, and special events throughout the week, August 18th through the 26th. Get tickets at connecticutopen.org.
Welcome back to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. Saturday is free fishing license day here in Connecticut, the last for 2017. Now, this is the day. It's free fishing, but unlike free fishing day, you have to have a license. So you have to go on to the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection's website, order a one day for Saturday, August 12th. when you check out, the charge will be zero, but they do that to track how many people take advantage of this opportunity. If you know somebody who wants to get into fishing, it's a great day to do it because you can get out there and it doesn't cost anything. There's no investment. Loan them a rod, get them the free license, and get them out there. Now, the weather, a little bit dicey for Saturday. I believe that the Nutmeg TU bass trip is being postponed, but watch nutmegtrout.org for updates on that as it develops. Could still be a good day to fish. I'm hoping to get out for a little bit. Last night, they had a public hearing on the proposed new regulations for the state of Connecticut that we discussed in detail with Peter Aristed, Director of Fisheries for the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection on last week's show, and this show will be linked to that. You can get that at the Yankee Fisherman page under shows at han.network. Peter explained very nicely and in detail all of these. The hearing drew a total of 9 people, including myself, 2 of whom spoke, and they both spoke in favor of the regulations, one in favor of the entire package, one in favor of the carp trophy designations. So there is support there. But what they're running into is on social media and online comments, there are still a number of people opposed to the trout and salmon stamps. Again, it would be an extra $12 a year if you bought the combination stamp for trout and salmon. People are still saying that's just money the state's taking from fishermen and it's not going to go to fisheries, and that's not true. We discussed that with Peter last week. The week before, we replayed a January discussion with Peter and with Bill Hyatt from the Bureau of Natural Resources, explaining how law, federal and state law, require that all of those license fees, taxes on fishing and hunting equipment, all of that goes back to fishing and hunting equipment. And these stamp fees would be used to help make sure we don't have to go through the threat we faced a year ago of closing the Kensington hatchery. And the closing of the Kensington hatchery would mean the end, most likely, of trout in the classroom, salmon in schools, and major disruptions in the stocking program. Yes, it costs a little bit more, but let's do what the state hasn't. Let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's support this. Let's kick in a couple of extra bucks, pennies a day if you really want to add it up, and say, okay, we're willing to pay for it. Now you can't touch our resources. That is going to do it for this week's Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. We'll be back next Thursday. Till then, tight lines.